everybody, welcome back to another Random Sam Epic Mom, and today we're doing banana bread. Now I've got tried and true recipe here, and I'll probably copy this and maybe put it in the description, whatever. Alright, so here's the deal, guys. My banana bread is something I've been making for a very long time, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to do any type of bread in my house because I have to do two separate ones, gluten-free and regular. Luckily, this recipe does work pretty good even with gluten-free flour. So, first things first though, guys, let's start up our oven to 300 degrees. Now, luckily, I have a double oven. So we're gonna put our gluten-free in one, regular in the other, and just so you guys can get a decent view of my oven. Pretty nice, huh? My husband broke it enough times with his wheelchair that he finally got me a nice one. So far we're doing pretty good with this one. So anyways, now we gotta do all of our ingredients, which are on the table. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I always end up making a huge mess whenever I'm baking. So, I also end up doing a lot of messes when my kids get home because they want to help. So we're going to try and get this done before they come home because it is a Friday. Don't know when we're going to actually post this video, but they've got an earlier release, so I'm trying to get this done before they get home. So, we're going to be doubling the recipe for the regular one and doing just the normal recipe for the gluten-free. So let's see what we can do. We've got a bowl for each one. And the first part, it says, is to cream the sugar and butter. I'll get a spoon out for this. Alright, now I'm going to need half a cup butter. Now this little one, never been used, this is no contamination. Margarine is actually gluten-free, but the other one has had, me doing all sorts of stuff in it. Here we go, half a cup. Now this small one, we're going to end up using almost all of the margarine that's in it. All right. And again, I've mentioned this before, guys, but it helps if you kind of clean as you go. This one's not going to be big enough for a double recipe. Hold on. All right. Okay. This one is a little easier to scoop up because it's been sitting out all morning. Now, I like doing the margarine instead of just regular butter because I find that it creams a little bit easier and it just gives it a good texture in the mix. So again, personal preference, you guys can use just regular butter. up because we don't want to leave a big mess. But while we're at it, when you get done using any of your ingredients, guys, it's always awesome to put them up right then and there, because this saves you a lot of trouble down the road. Or at least clean up. Alright, next, we've got to do the sugar. Now, we're doing 3/4 of sugar. Surprisingly, I actually have 3/4 scoop. So that's good. Now, I used to make the gluten-free and then go back through and do everything again. I found that it's just easier if I do it all at once, because then I'm not forgetting any ingredients. So I'll put this aside for a second. And now, as you can see, guys, we've got pretty much just all that together. The margarine is actually going to make it so it creams a little bit quicker. The gluten-free one is going to take a little bit more strength to smush it all together, because I did use cold margarine for the gluten-free one because I just grabbed it from the fridge. Alright, as you can see, this one has been creamed together. Now again, guys, you start off, you can see all the little bits of it. Creaming it together does not take a lot. And if you guys have noticed the timing, this went a little bit quicker. Again, having it at room temperature made it easier. Now, next we gotta add the bananas and the eggs and the dry ingredients. Looks like I didn't get enough eggs. Hold on. All right. Another good thing, keep your trash can near you, because accidents will happen. All right, so just for edification, we've got 3/4 cups of sugar for a 1/2 cup of butter or margarine. I'm using margarine. Once that is creamed together, you add your eggs and bananas. Now, me personally, It says that you can mix the bananas and the eggs at the same time. I like to mix the eggs in. With the cream that we've just done. And then add the bananas. Now, the directions will say to already have your bananas smashed up. And I know some people like put them in a blender or something. I don't like to do that because I don't like to put nuts in my banana bread. Some people do. I personally don't like the nuts in it. So I kind of just chunk up the banana. Now, you only actually need, like I said, 2 eggs for just the regular recipe. Our wheat one, we're doing double the amount. So for 3 eggs, mashed up eggs, I'm actually doing 4 in this first one. Just because I happen to have extra bananas that I don't want to go bad. So you can put at least a minimum of 3 in. Now, like I said, I'm just tearing chunks. They're already mushy. They're browning up. And by not having them already smushed already, I'm giving some texture for the banana bread. Now, in my household, well, there's a goof. I actually had to hide my bananas so my kids wouldn't eat them all. Because they'll do it. They will eat all of my bananas. Now obviously before you add in your flour, you're going to want to wash your hands of all the banana guts, as my kids like to call it. Now another thing, we are in April, but we have snow going. Have an inch outside and it's still going pretty good. So baking is a perfect thing to do on a day like today. Now, normally I'd have the kids with me doing this because the kids just get a kick out of getting their hands all mushy like this. Now this double recipe, we're actually doing 6, so I think we'll steal a little bit from it. Now obviously, before you move on to scooping up the flour, at this point you might want to go wash your hands. Alright guys, so we've done the bananas, now we need the dry ingredients, which is 1.5 cups flour to start with. Now, I'm going to be using the same cup we used for the sugar, the 3/4, because 2 of those do make 1.5 cups. This is fractions, guys. We said in school, oh, when am I ever going to use it? Here's when you're going to use it. When you're doubling recipes or trying to get the correct size scoop. Now, a nice thing about most of the gluten-free flours come in these resealable bags. So that makes it a little bit easier. So this one is Great Value gluten-free. And then because I just ran out of that bag, we're doing all-purpose flour from this Divided Sunset. Alright. That is our gluten-free. Luckily we didn't have to open a new bag. And we're going to use the same scoop, but because we are doing a double amount of the recipe, we're going to be using, instead of 2 of these, 4. Which will give us 3 cups of flour. Alright. Next, we've got 1 teaspoon of baking powder. So not a tablespoon, guys, teaspoon. TSP, okay? Not TDSP. Okay, 1 for the regular amount and then 2 for the double recipe. Now again, now you need salt. Again, another teaspoon. 1 for the regular, 2 for the double. That's enough. And I've had people ask me, what's the real difference? So allow me to show you. This is the teaspoon that we just used. This is a tablespoon. Notice the difference, guys? It does matter when reading the recipe. All right, so now we can put this stuff away. Now guys, at this point you have an option. If you do happen to like chopped nuts, whether it's walnuts or whatever, or pecans or whatever you want. If you want nuts in, once this is mixed up, then you add the nuts. Right now though, just stirring this up. Now normally you can use like one of those electric mixers if you want. I'm not gonna do that because one, it's just too much trouble to wash off the blades and get fresh ones, and I'm just don't want it. So today we're just doing everything with a spoon. If you have chunks, you can smush them a little bit more in. But as you can see, it's gonna look like lumpy cake batter. And that is not because you're not mixing it enough, it's because you've got actual banana chunks. So you'll still get that texture that you like with the nuts, but without the actual nuts. Now, sometimes, depending on the time of the year, it seems as if the flour isn't, getting enough mixed in. Right now, it still looks a little soupy, so what I'm gonna do is just sprinkle in a little bit more. And again, guys, this is a personal preference, but I'd like to remind you guys, depending on what elevation you're at, where you live, will determine whether you need more flour or not. That's just true about everything. Now that we've mixed it up properly, I have heavily greased, well greased pans. Alright, once you scooped it into your well buttered or well greased pan, put it in the oven. Again, the oven needs to be set at 300. Luckily we set the oven before we started, so that works for us. We're gonna put these two in our top oven right here. We're gonna set the timer for an hour and 15. Now the recipe says anywhere from an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, but I find that up here in a higher elevation, I do a little bit longer and it works better. All right, now we need to finish mixing up our double batch. Now with the regular flour, it ended up mixing up well enough that we didn't need to add more. Again, lots of banana chunks. When it's this big, I probably should have used the electric mixer, but again, I'm just using a spoon. I bet some of you who are just checking out this channel for the first time are wondering why. I only have 2 people in my house that need to be on a gluten-free diet for health reasons, which is why I only make, 1 recipe of the gluten-free, but double that for everybody else in the house. There's 8 people in this house. 6 of them can have regular. The other 2 need to have the gluten-free. Now, a lot of people will say, hey, why don't you just do gluten-free for everybody? Well, here's something they don't tell you about. If you do not need to be on a gluten-free diet and you put yourself on a gluten-free diet, you're actually possibly doing damage to your system. You may develop a gluten sensitivity, which can cause trouble down the line. Also, it's more expensive. 1 bag of flour, I happened to get this a while back. This cost me, I think, $6-7. Although with this brand, it was $6 for the Great Value. I think it was like $8 or $9 for this one. I don't know, I'd have to look it up, but that's a big difference from what regular flour costs. So that is another reason why I limit how much I do of the gluten-free. Again, not as watery as the gluten-free. Still lumpy cake batter or bread batter. So again, we are going to make sure these are thoroughly coated. Normally what I would do is I would just use more margarine, but I'm being lazy and this goes on quicker. Yeah. As you guys can see, pretty much done. It's not going to be that deep, but again, we've got the baking powder. It's going to cause it to rise. Let's get these ones put in. Again, set your timers so that that's dealt with. All right, guys, so pretty much we have just done all of our mixing and such. They're gonna be in there for the next hour. That means that during that time you can relax, you can do anything, but what I recommend before you start doing anything too intense, get your area cleaned. Because I don't know about you guys, but if you are at home and you've got to deal with all this stuff, it's better to get it clean as you go. But any stuff that's left over, clean it up. Otherwise, it'll just add more and more, especially if you have kids around. Let's get cleaning. All right, guys, our timer just went off. And we're gonna check out our gluten-free. Now, here's the trick, guys. Using a toothpick that comes out mostly dry, that's good. This is a little bit flaky, but it's not like damp or anything, so these ones are good. As you can see, they did rise. They're not too big. So we'll turn the top oven off. And I have a terrible habit of, forgetting to turn off the oven and getting sidetracked. But that's okay. All right, guys, next thing that I really am going to encourage is this. Obviously, these need to cool for a little bit, but once they are done, one of the things that I will do is on a Ziploc bag, I'll put them in so they don't dry out. We will also, for these two, put a GF for gluten-free. Now, by doing this, guys, we're making it so that, one, we can clean these tins quicker than, just leaving them on the counter or the stove and just cutting a piece off here and there. If, you have this many people and you eat it up really quick, fine. But otherwise, it's good to have it in a sealed thing because they'll last a little bit longer. They won't go bad. Granted, with my kids, it probably will last for the next, 2 days, if we're lucky. But that's that. Because another nice thing is, because we put these in, a few minutes before, we're not trying to rush, see which ones get done quicker. So, as I said, these are fairly warm. They were in the oven for a total of 1 hour and 15. So again, we're just trying to keep them going. Once they have cooled, cutting a slice, I put some margarine on the side of it. Very tasty. Even once they've cooled down and everything, whether they've been in the fridge or just on the counter for a while, one of the things I like to do, if they've cooled, is put them in the microwave for about 8 to 10 seconds, put on some margarine, and gobble it up. It's delicious. Again, this is just a nice, easy one. And what I love about things like banana bread is perfect for an afternoon snack. It's perfect for breakfast when you're running late. And it's just something yummy to eat. So I hope this has, given you guys some ideas. If you guys do want to use the recipe, go for it. You can also find banana bread recipes online, any cookbooks. Everybody's got their own recipe, it seems. But, it's pretty basic. This one doesn't use a lot of ingredients. And it just gets done. So, again, if you guys get a chance to try this recipe out, let me know how it worked for you in the comments. And hopefully you guys will join us again soon. Thanks again for watching, and remember, go out, find some fun in the day. And your boring day can be spiced up with a variety of ways of doing little things like this. So we'll see you guys again soon. Bye. hope you enjoyed that. Please check out our other videos already on YouTube. And give us a like and subscribe. And if you hit that bell for notifications, you'll know when we put something new out. So try to make every day matter by finding the fun. You guys have a great one. Bye.